If you want to see Adam Schiff completely outmatched, stick around because this is a masterclass in poise versus political theater. Today, we're breaking down the fiery Senate confirmation hearing where Pam Bondi absolutely dismantled Schiff's attempts to rattle her. From wild hypotheticals to outright theatrics, this one has it all. You don't want to miss it. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, become a subscriber to the channel, hit the notification bell, and smack that like button because it helps us get our message out to more people. And don't forget, we do live streams every Friday night at 6 o'clock Eastern, where we get into some of the wildest stories of the week with a healthy dose of humor, sarcasm, and a good old conservative common sense. Join us this Friday. We hope to see you. All right. Now, let's talk about what went down in the Senate confirmation hearing for Pam Bondi. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a hearing. It was a circus. The hearing was meant to assess Bondi's qualifications for Attorney General of the Department of Justice. Instead, Adam Schiff,
Senator Schiff now,
decided to turn it into his personal stage for political theatrics. You know the guy, partisan, grandstanding, wild accusations, and of course his trademark condescending tone. Schiff came in hot, referencing the Supreme Court's ruling on Trump versus the United States. His claim that the court essentially gave Trump absolute immunity to commit crimes. Dramatic much? Bondi wasn't having it. Calm and collected, she refused to engage in his exaggerated claims. She reminded him and everyone watching that her job, if confirmed, is to uphold the law based on facts, not partisan narratives. Give it a watch.
Ms. Bondi, as you know, the Supreme Court in Trump versus United States held the president has absolute immunity to commit crimes in certain core areas of the president's responsibility. One of those core areas is the Justice Department. So in a breathtakingly dangerous and irresponsible decision, Justice Roberts and the majority held the president could commit crimes using the Department of Justice and be immune from prosecution. Justice Sotomayor correctly said this new immunity lies about like a loaded weapon.
Justice Sotomayor, though a sweet lady, is a moron when it comes to constitutional law.
So the fear and the concern we have is that the incoming president will use that loaded weapon, that immunity to commit crimes.
You mean like Joe Biden and Merrick Garland, how they weaponized the DOJ to go after their political enemies? And also Christopher Wray and the FBI? You mean like that?
Through the Department of Justice. And for that reason, it is all the more important that we have an attorney general who has the independence, the strength, the intestinal fortitude to say no.
You mean like Merrick Garland did?
To the president when it is necessary. So my first set of questions has to do whether you have the independence to say no when you must say no. And you can say this is hypothetical, but it is not hypothetical. So let me start with one very specific non-hypothetical.
First of all, guys, Schiff knows that the Supreme Court did not say what he claimed. So why did he bring it up? First off, the Supreme Court did not give President Trump absolute immunity. The ruling was for the president, not just Trump, any future president. The Supreme Court broke it down into 3 sections. Adam Schiff knows this. He's just being a scumbag. The court said that if a president is at a presidential function and he does something in the official capacity as president, then he has presidential immunity. And that's the only one of the 3 where he has presidential immunity. It's pretty straight up that even a boneheaded pencil neck geek like Adam Schiff should know this. The second scenario is if the president is not at a presidential function and he does something that as president could be questionable, he does not have immunity. The third scenario is that if the president is at a non-presidential function and he does something not as the president, he does not have immunity. Now, it appears that Adam Schiff wants to take on the role that he had in the House. He wants to be the Senate's pit bull to go after Republicans because he's as slimy as Jack Smith on his worst day. He wants to be a political hitman because he has the chutzpah to look you in the eye and lie to your face and make things up in order to try to intimidate you. And as you will see, Pam Bondi was not intimidated at all.
President has said Jack Smith should go to jail. will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything without.
She's right.
You're a long practicing attorney without looking at a file.
So you would need a factual predicate to open an investigation of Jack Smith. Is that right?
Not a summary by you sitting here. Yes, sir.
And not a summary by the president either, right?
Absolutely.
So a summary by the president or his desire to investigate Jack Smith would not be enough for you to open an investigation of Jack Smith. Is that right?
I will.
My God. I mean, Jack Smith threw lawfare at Trump, which I'm sorry, he did illegal things. First of all, Merrick Garland broke the law because he appointed Jack Smith unconstitutionally. He did not send Smith for advice and consent to the Senate. He just said, guess what? You're the special prosecutor. Go get Trump.
Look at the facts and evidence in any case. You know,
and
72%,
sitting here today,
Senator, 72% of Americans
I only have
have
7
lost
minutes.
faith in the Department of Justice.
Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Sitting here today, yes or no?
Senator, I will look at the facts and the circumstances.
You can't answer that question.
You're not.
She's answering the question. She's just not giving him the answer that he wants.
Not a part of the department yet. There's no worry about divulging law enforcement sensitive information. So just tell us, are you aware of a factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Yes or no?
Senator, what I'm hearing on the news is horrible. Do I know if he committed a crime? I have not looked.
You seem reluctant to answer a simple question. Let me ask you a different simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney should go to prison for the things she literally broke the law. She very easily, you can explain how she broke the law.
Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney?
See, what he's trying to do is he's trying to say, well, if Pam Bondi gives him an answer and says, no, if the president told me to go after Jack Smith, I would have to look at the facts first. And then if she then goes after Jack Smith after looking at the facts, he can go to the cameras. This is what he does. He can go to the media cameras and say, you know what? I warned America that she was going to go after Jack Smith, not the fact that Jack Smith broke laws and Liz Cheney broke laws.
Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that question.
It's not hypothetical. I'm asking you.
It is a hypothetical.
You, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one has asked me to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a hypothetical.
The president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
So Trump said publicly that Liz Cheney should be investigated. And Adam Schiff is trying to make it seem that he told her that if she gets in as AG, that she has to go after Liz Cheney. He did no such thing.
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president has.
Now, that's the second time she told him that. And it's the second time his reply was, but the president said it publicly. Who gives a shit what Trump said publicly? He's not even president yet.
We're also worried about Liz Cheney, Senator.
The president has
you know what we should be worried about?
Ms. Bondi, please answer my questions.
California right now is through the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
your robberies are 87% higher than the national average.
My question is this.
That's what I want to be focused on, Senator.
Do you have the power to say no to the president? And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the
non-answer. She answered him. She's saying that no one asked me to look at Liz Cheney. She said on Jack Smith, I will look at a case if it's presented to me. I don't know what more this jackass wants.
Independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president.
Oh, my goodness. Merrick Garland lied every time he opened his mouth. He committed perjury in front of Congress multiple times.
So my questions now are, can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me.
She's already made it clear. Any investigation must be rooted in facts and evidence, not political vendettas like the Biden administration. In other words, the polar opposite of how Merrick Garland has run the DOJ under Mr. Potato Head Biden's administration.
Start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell us, Can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election?
Do you hear this crap? Wait till you hear her response. It's awesome.
Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that? Do you have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the...
So in other words, the way this pencil neck geek is insinuating things, he's setting it up so that if she doesn't answer yes, that I'm not going to let him intimidate me, he's going to say that, yes, then you're a wimp, that you can't stand up to Trump, because she's not going to answer a hypothetical question like that.
2020 election. Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it.
I'm just asking you a simple
I
question.
won't play
If you can
politics
speak truth
with any ongoing
to power.
investigation,
So let me ask you another...
like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo.
If you can't answer the question, let me...
You love that? He leaked a memo from Devin Nunes to the media. And now he's got the balls to question her on the same kind of unethical behavior. And she had an exemplary record as Attorney General of Florida.
Ask you a different, what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election?
In my home state.
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question, if you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question about...
See, he asked her, was there serious fraud enough to change the election? And she's about to tell him that Pennsylvania, which was the worst state of all, where they cheated, that she's about to say, because she came up here to help the legal team during that, because Pennsylvania was just, it was unbelievable what they did here, Philadelphia particularly. And so he doesn't want to hear it. He just asked her a question she tried to answer, and you watch.
I can only tell you what I saw in Pennsylvania.
I know you want to answer a different question, but my question is, can you tell us whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election? Yes or no? Was there or was there not?
I can tell you what I saw when I went as an advocate to the campaign.
That's not my question. So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that.
He doesn't want to hear the answer.
Truth to us, let alone to the president. So let me ask you a different question.
And plus, how is it the Attorney General's job to tell Trump that he lost the 2020 election? What the hell is that? There were other senators, Democrats, who brought up the 2020 election and January 6th, all the things that Pencil Neck is bringing up now.
It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Oh, my God.
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case. Let me finish. On a case-by-case basis.
Okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up with that. So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President?
What about when police officers fire tear gas and rubber bullets at peaceful protesters? And they came and attacked back. Isn't that called justifiable? Isn't that defending yourself? Because we have it on video. They played it on the air, on news, that two of the police officers were laughing about that, saying, oh, well, I guess if we fire tear gas and rubber bullets into peaceful people, that they're going to get angry.
President, I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president?
You mean like the over 1,000 pardons that Joe Biden is giving out? He even offered one for Adam Schiff, from what I understand. Well, he was asked, and he said, I don't think I should take one. He wants one, trust me.
No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket.
See, now, he just said, no, Mr. President, I got to go on a case-by-case. Now, watch when she says she's going to go on a case-by-case, what he said.
Pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
and
for the pardons, as well
will you be able to review hundreds of cases on day one?
Yeah, you hear him? So he says, will you go and tell the president that you have to look at the case files? She just said, yes, I will look at the case files. And then he comes back and says, what, you're going to look at hundreds of them on day one? You can't win with this guy. He's a slime ball.
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question is...
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want?
You'll be able to review hundreds of cases on the first day?
I'm not going to mislead this body, nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask another question.
You were censured by...
It will
Congress,
also-
Senator, for
it will
comments just
also-
like this. That
it
are
will-
Did you hear that? You were censored by the House and Congress for comments just like this. And he was censored.
It will also be
Yeah, she just called him reckless because he is reckless. He's lying right now.
important for you to be able to
He keeps saying, you don't want to answer the question. She answered the question.
preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready?
That is laughable because he was on the January 6th committee and they deleted all the digital data that they compiled right before the Republicans took over the House. So he has a lot of balls to ask this question.
To commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch.
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the
Do you
department.
see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation?
Why would the Trump DOJ destroy January 6th evidence? Why? Why would they do that? Everybody knows that the majority of people that were put in prison over this had nothing to do with the riot.
Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation?
Because she would be a fool to commit to anything. Because then can you see that where she says, oh, I commit, we're not going to destroy any evidence, right? Because obviously she wouldn't, right? That's a Democrat thing, right? Or a Liz Cheney Rhino thing, a little Adam Kinzinger thing, right? But the fact of the matter is that later on, then Democrats will make stuff up saying, well, she said they weren't going to destroy, and we know that they destroyed evidence, even though there was no destruction of evidence. This is what he's doing.
Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was
There you go.
false? Is that why you're
Why
frightened?
There you go.
I can't believe this is even...
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
Do you see what he's doing? She so far has been calm, cool, and collected. And she keeps going back at him like, why are you even asking this? Like, in other words, she shouldn't even have to put up with something like this stupid line of questioning from him. But she handled herself really well.
I can't believe
Why
you're
do you have
asking such a
difficulty?
question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
That's all she needs to say. I will follow the law. So in the end, what did this hearing really show? It's simple. Bondi is everything the DOJ needs: principled, composed, and focused on justice. Schiff, on the other hand, reminded us why trust in government institutions is at an all-time low, and he has a big hand in it. Pam Bondi's performance was a reminder of what true leadership looks like. Adam Schiff's performance, well, let's just say he's still auditioning for his role as the Senate's political hitman. All right, thanks for watching. Hit that notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with the latest news, political battles, and more. I'll see you in the next one. Spread the word.
This guy's a real piece of work, strutting around like he owns the earth, leaving people pissed off in his wake, never caring about the mess he makes. This guy is a dick, no doubt about it. You think he's cool, but it's so crowded. Leaves me wondering how I got to know him, falling for his bullshit, thinking I'm below him.